Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 47. On this show, we strive to showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Action Target. Today I have with me one of the original Jersey boys, Sam Asner. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I've been really busy. I've been swamped at work. I think I've had 2 days off in the last month or so. It's been rough. Been working on Guns of Hollywood stuff. Kind of updated the website a bit. Got a schedule put together to run throughout the year or through the end of the year. Got some different pages put up there and starting to work on that. You know, it's hard fitting that all around when you're working.
Yeah, I
But
hear you. Have
I've
you?
been doing a lot of gun buying and gun stuff buying. Not a lot of shooting though, which kind of stinks. Once in the last like 2 months, I've been hurting.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, brother. I haven't really been pulling triggers as much as swiping the credit card, but it should be good. I picked up an RCBS Chargemaster, so that should help speed up my reloading because I got tired of manually trickling in powder and taking 5 minutes to load one really precise round. So that should speed things up a bit. And I'm just finishing up a Lone Wolf G9 build, 9mm carbine AR pistol. So I should be doing a thorough review of that pretty soon. Release. I'll have it completed and I'll show it off on the podcast next week. But yeah, just a lot of buying, and it's been hot, but that's not really a good excuse. But I will shoot this weekend. I'm making that promise on the air.
Yeah, I have off Friday. I may try to get out there, but it's hard.
Yes, it is. So let's get right into the announcements. Of course, guests are always welcome on the show, and I'm starting to get some emails from listeners that want to maybe to come on the show and talk about their favorite firearm or their favorite gear. That's awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. So actually, to sweeten the pot a little bit, what I thought is usually when I do a giveaway, I make you guys or ask you guys to leave a review, and then I set a time limit, and then I do a drawing of just whoever random user reviews. We're gonna do a new giveaway, and I'm gonna run it a little bit differently because I really want listeners to join me on the show. That's how someone's gonna win this next product. Is you have to come on the show as a guest, and then you win a product. So actually, this is the first product that I'm going to run, and it's a tracker sticker. A couple of podcasts ago, we were in the Tech Gadget or App section. We were talking about the Tracker Bravos, and I actually signed up for I signed up for a free one, and I chipped in a little money to their Kickstarter, which they sent me some free stickers here. And so what they are is it's a little fob that goes onto your keychain, and then you download the Tracker app on your Apple iPhone or your Android. So basically, you put this on your keys, your gun case, your dog's collar, your kid's backpack, in your wife's purse, whatever you want to put a little homing beacon on, and then be able to track it with your phone. So it's great for if you've lost your keys. It runs off of Bluetooth, and so you kind of need to be close enough for your phone to be able to pick it up through the airwaves. So that's a little bit of an issue if your dog runs off and he's not within your reception area. But there is if the more people who get these, it kind of sets up a network. So if your dog runs past if my dog runs all the way to New Jersey and Sam has one of these and it runs by his phone's going to pick it up and ping the network and let me know where my lost dog is in New Jersey, hypothetically.
Only,
So
Oh, is that only if you set it to do so? Because hopefully they get a lot of these out into the public and people are buying them. But every time someone walks by, it's going to go beep beep,
No,
as
no,
somebody else's
you
keys go
actually
by you.
you have to either through the app or through the website actually you uh, there's a little setting like this item is missing or lost, and so that enables that.
Oh, that's cool. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So
Huh.
put your tinfoil hats away, folks. It's not like that. So these are like their initial. These are, I guess you'd call the alpha, not Charlie. Anyway, these were their first products, and the Bravos are their new ones that they're coming out. But this still works good. I've attached one to my keychain, and then it also works backwards. Like I can press this, and then it'll actually make my phone ring. So if I lost my phone, I've got a way to find my phone. If I press the fob, it'll make my phone ring, even if it's off. I think it'll wake it up, or at least powered down. It'll wake it up. So it's a $25 value. I'm giving it away for free to the next person that joins me on the podcast, and
Well,
I've
I'm
only
here
got
right now.
well,
What am I? Chopped liver? I don't count.
yeah, you're officially part of the network, so you don't count. And anyone that's been on the show previously, this is starting right now after this podcast with brand new guests. So that means anyone else who's already been on the show once is ineligible. I'm trying to get new listeners on the show, so stay tuned for that. And as obviously I've only got one extra of those. The next time I'll do one to get another listener on, I'll find another new item. So kind of it increases the amount of giveaways that we have, and listener participation, and those are two things that I wanted to do anyway. So um, other than that, there's another announcement. I updated my review from the Laserlight Trainer 22 LTLR. Um, the manufacturer promptly shipped me a replacement unit after they were notified that it was kind of defective and wasn't working all that great. So the second laser trainer that I got in works really well, just as it should. And I've tested it with all my 22 caliber firearms, 22 pistols, the Ruger 1022 rifle, AR-15s, and a Savage, a 10 and 22 250. It's got like a heavy 26-inch barrel on there. I was sniping the plinking cans from across the house, so about like 50 feet. So it's working like it's advertised. So I've updated my review, so it's now got a score of 8.5. So those actually, now that I've got a working one, I can say it's really awesome, really fun, and I would encourage more people to give it a try. If my first initial review kind of turned them off to it, I'd give it a second chance now. So let's get into the new product spotlight. We have a Bumpfire Systems AR-15 stock, and this is unique to the market of Bumpfire stocks because it's cheaper than the other ones. This one comes in at $99.99. The other ones from Slidefire Solutions and a couple of the Fostech, those are easily pushing $300, if not more. And this is kind of a nice. I think somebody was like, "Well, I want one, but it's too expensive." Why? I think if somebody came onto the market at a lower price, it would really clean up, and that looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Have you taken a look at this? What do you think?
Um, I have only a brief look because I'm not even going to comment on the look, style, whatever, functionality because, you know, we're still like, things have gotten way better as far as ammo goes and it's gotten more reasonable. Hopefully it'll continue to get better, but, times are still hard, like, you know, overall, like economically, like things aren't getting better. People aren't making as much as they used to. People are worried about, this and that. I just don't know, like, who's running around mag dumping using these things. Not me. I think it's like definitely, it's more of a narrow market it's going for. It has no appeal to me personally,
Not
but that's only because I cannot justify wantingly dumping. Well, I have 15 rounders here in New Jersey, but just mag dumping 15 rounders using this thing. I don't know. I
not
think it's
even
silly.
not even if for $100 you can have it and when the societal collapse happens, you can throw this on your AR and have some mad suppressive fire
No,
abilities.
because no,
Because
no,
you're gonna be
no,
scavenging for
because I can
ammo.
put like yeah, ammo again, ammo concerns, and also, you're when you're using a or rather a actual automatic weapon, the only thing you're worried about is staying on target and recoil mitigation. But with this, it's a different mechanic because you're using your body to apply that force to that trigger in a very specific way. That now, of course, if you train with it, you can get used to it. But it's not the same as just having a good hold in that rifle, having solid recoil mitigation, and pulling that trigger. You're forcing it to slam to bump fire that way. So it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. So it's not meant to be an accurate lead hose, is what you're saying. But if you want,
Well, I don't see it. I think you could possibly train to be relatively efficient and accurate using that technique, but it's just maybe it's just a tinge of jealousy because somebody out there can afford to mag dump 30 rounders, but uh, I just think it's impractical.
yeah, I see it much more as a niche, range toy. You take your buddies to the
Exactly.
range, and you let them shoot the rifle a couple times, and you're confident that they're comfortable with it, and then okay, here, watch this. You're not going to be doing as fast bump fire all the time. It's really the novelty of it, and people who
Right.
have expendable income and they're into entertaining new range guests, they're going to be all over this because it's a third of the price of the competition. So that's why I wanted to bring it on the show. I'm not going to get one because I like slow and accurate fire, but that's just me.
And I will say this much: I didn't want to comment on the looks or construction, but it looks like it's a third of the price. You know,
Yes, it
it,
does.
it's a little more cumbersome or unrefined, if you will.
Yeah, it's reinforced nylon, which they claim extremely light and strong, but it looks like it's
A
been.
brick.
Yeah, it's not very aesthetically pleasing for sure. I mean, the back end of it starts to a little bit resemble like a
Yeah, like
Magpul.
it wants to look good,
Yeah,
but then at some point it just lets itself go.
you could say that about me. All right, so if you want to check that out, go on over to www.bumpfiresystems.com, and then they've got a tab for the AR-15 system. Then they are working on an AK-47 system, which is something that at the same price range, I might be interested in because Um, I mean, AK is not accurate anyway, so you might as well just be rat-a-tat-tatting with it. It depends on how it looks. AK is not really pretty anyway, but if it looks the same as the AR-15 one, I probably won't get it because it'll make my AK look like a dumpster, prostitute. It's just horrible, gross.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm not really a tactical AK guy. Like I want my AKs to have wood on it. It needs to look dirty to me.
Yeah, you're a purist. It needs to, honor
Yeah,
honor the motherland.
yeah.
All
No
right.
matter what country that may be, because everyone's got AKs from all around the world.
Yeah.
But typically they started their life with some dirty swamp forest wood. But anyway,
All right. Well, actually, since we're on the topic of Woodstock guns, the next product is the Ruger Gunsight Scout that was just recently announced to be released in the caliber of 5.56 223 Remington. Um, so there's a lot of people that are already slamming this on the internet, like hardcore, like because it's exactly like the 308 model, the 7.62 that they have released, and was a pretty good hit in the market. But this is 5.56. and the barrel length is shorter than the 308 variant. It's the same price and it's the same weight. So it's like they just converted the barrel and the bolt, and then bam. The big problem that people are having is that it doesn't take 223 like AR-15 magazines. It doesn't even take Mini 14 Ruger magazines. So the fact that it's kind of a proprietary magazine that's not plentiful out there.
So basically, to increase your firepower, add another $150 to this price
Yeah,
tag.
yeah,
If
exactly.
you want to get 3 more magazines, because I'm sure they're going to go for close to $50 a pop. Proprietary magazines on a rifle that costs over $1,000. Well, maybe store price you might get it for $975. Maybe you can find it for maybe $950 on the street. You're probably looking at $50 a mag.
Yeah,
So
I mean the MSRP right now of $1,039 is yikes. Uh, for what it
I
is
remember
too.
seeing, as far as street prices go, I remember seeing it was sub 1,000. The street prices for the 7.62 that I've seen, they ended up being typically 9.25 to 9.75. So you're right up brushing with $1,000 for the gun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I and Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, I mean, it's a scout rifle. It's kind of just supposed to be like a brush gun, and 308 fits that model pretty well. Um, but in 5.56, it's like, well, there's so many other alternatives that will take the magazines that are already cheap and plentiful. Like everyone's saying, well, no, thank you. I'm gonna stick with the Mossberg MVP. Because that's takes regular magazines and it's cheaper, probably a little bit
Right.
lighter too.
If you want sort of the bolt action reliability mentality of that original concept of a scout rifle, then I would say, as far as ergonomics, because now they make the MVP in the flex, so you could have that interchangeable Mossberg system of stocks and fore ends and all that nonsense uh, that Mossberg has, and it accepts standard magazines. So I just this gun is very it's for a certain type of person, I'd say.
Yeah, the person that already owns the same gun in 308 and wishes that shooting was cheaper, that's the target market.
Well, either whether kind of, I know we're talking about the new version of it, the 5.56 version, but caliber aside, this may be one of the cases where people are buying it because it says gun sight, not because of what it is.
Yeah, and it is a unique gun. It is attractive if you're looking for, a gray laminate wood stock, that's kind of nice and sturdy and robust. I mean, this thing is 7.1 pound or 7 pounds, 7.1 pounds. The bolt knob looks pretty robust. It's got a scout rail, but you can mount it with a scout sight, or you can remove the rear iron sight and get like a Ruger proprietary rings, and then use a regular scope with a standard eye relief. So it doesn't have to be a scout scope. It could just be a short-barreled, regular
Yeah.
bolt gun.
But then there's like other companies, like if I'm remembering correctly, Savage has their version of a scout rifle, and
Hold on,
I remember.
are you in the wind?
Oh, this is better. This is better. Sorry.
Yeah, picking up some static there.
Still.
Yeah, still.
How about now? How about now?
A little bit better.
Good.
So what were you saying?
What I'm saying is Savage scout rifle, where anytime that you're dealing with moving rails on top of a receiver and tapped holes in the top and changing those things out, I don't know. It was kind of sketches me out. Like I had a Ruger 1022, and the top of the receiver is tapped, and you put a little rail on top, and you screw it down, and those stripped on me. The holes, the tapped holes, stripped on me, and so that's kind of always put a bad taste in my mouth for that. I like as more of a purpose design where on the Savage one the rail went over it like a traditional rail, and the sight was built into it, if I remember correctly. Like you could remove the sight, but the rail would still be there.
Okay.
I have to look it up again. I prefer when I was actually considering a scout rifle for a while, and I preferred the Savage for both that reason and the trigger. If I remember correctly, this series, the trigger's kind of rubbish, especially compared to the AccuTrigger and the Savage.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, and especially isn't for the price tag. That's kind of my look on it.
Yeah. I mean, if you own a suppressor and you're looking for a bolt gun to be a host for that, I mean, it is pre-threaded from the factory, and depending on the diameter of your can, the iron sights might clear it, probably won't. If it's a 308 can that you've got an adapter for the 1/2 by 28, but it might make a good suppressor host. Because I was interested before I got my Remington and 308. I was looking at these, but the range reports I was hearing from other people were about the accuracy wasn't that great out of the box, and actually took a little bit of bedding and a little fine tuning to get it honed down to MOA. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, there's certainly someone who's gonna like these and want one. They're available in looks like 4 different finishes. So you've got alloy steel that's matte black. You've got stainless steel that's matte stainless. You've got alloy steel that's in a. Let's see what's the difference there. Yeah, so just stainless steel or matte black. So I think the stainless steel is kind of nice, but if you don't want that flashiness out in the field, if you're using it for hunting or something, go with the matte black. But if you want to check that out, go on over to Ruger.com and look at their products. Look for the bolt action rifles, and it'll be the under the gun sight scout rifle. So next up, we actually have some new products from Magpul. Unlike Magpul's other products, though, I don't know. I didn't expect them to come out with gunsmithing tools, and I didn't expect the price tags to be where they were. But they're not, DuPont plastic. These are actually steel tools, so they do carry a little bit of a price tag. So the first one is the Magpul Armorer's Wrench. It's got an MSRP of $79.95, so $80. It's American-made solid steel, and it's got a phosphated finish that helps enhance the grip. It fits standard flash hiders, and it removes rifle receiver extensions and carbine castle nuts. And it's got extended teeth for use with ASAP plates. It's got 2 hammer faces, and it works with a 1/2 inch torque wrench. And it's got, actually on one side, it's got the Magpul logo nice and big. And then on the other side, actually in the metal, it's got relevant torque specifications included for a quick reference, built right into the metal. So that's kind of cool. And it also has a convenient bottle opener for refreshments after the build is complete.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, after the build's complete, of course.
Yeah. Don't gunsmith and drink.
Right. This thing is if I was in a position to personally build AR-15 uppers at will and or was a gunsmith, I would consider this tool. But it's not the tool that I would pick up to build my first AR upper or lower. Like it's not. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you either have the expendable income to spend it on this, or it's something that you'd use very frequently, it has some nice features that make it appealing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
And I would say, sorry, but I would say in typical like Magpul fashion, like they took something that's been out there and they just made it better. Like it this thing kind of screams Magpul. Like it's got a look and feel of Magpul products, and I would love to get my hands on one and just feel it and see how it works for me. But it's sharp.
yeah, I mean, I've got a DPMS armorer's wrench, and it wasn't cheap either. I think it was lower than this, but it was definitely up there, probably about $50, 40, $50. And it doesn't have all of these things. I mean, it has some for the castle nut, just kind of a couple raised ledges for that, and then it's got the um, two pegs for using on barrel nuts, and then it's got, of course, the ridged teeth for interfacing with like the D ring on like non-free float AR-15s, two-piece handguards. Uh, so I mean, I use it a lot. Like it's probably my for armoring and taking apart firearms. It's probably my most used tool. But this isn't enough to make me like scrap this thing and go out and get this just because I can open a beer bottle and do some hammering with it. Um, so I mean, I've already got all the tools that I don't need this in all-in-one tool. But for someone that's
Right.
just starting out and is a big Magpul fanboy, God, they're gonna buy this like candy bars.
Yeah. Big Magpul fanboys will buy this. I would consider it if I was in the market for a serious armorer's wrench. It just doesn't do nothing for me right now.
Yeah, yeah. So I watched the video of I think the CEO or someone at a gun show showing it off, and then they were boasting about like, well, if you ever over overexert it and break it or whatnot, they'll take care of it, no problem. As far as you just say, hey, I got an armor's wrench here, and then they'll replace it for you, no problem. Yeah, and Magpul has a big problem with counterfeit stuff, and this is like gonna be really easy for someone to make a mold of and start cranking out counterfeit stuff. So uh,
That is true.
yeah, so
So
if
they may run into like replacing a bunch of counterfeit stuff.
oh, they're pretty strict about that. I bought an aftermarket or from a second party. I bought a UBR stock, and it was missing some screws, and so I was talking to Magpul tech support, and they were like, "Well, send us pictures of the bottom side of this, the letter colors, and the what's it say on the screws." And I was honest because I had no idea, and they straight up told me, "Oh yeah, that's a counterfeit stock." So we can't help you with it. So it's like, oh man. I mean, it worked good. I got rid of it eventually, passed it off to somebody else. But you gotta watch out for that stuff. So if you want to check that out, go on
Huh.
over to Magpul's website and go under products, and it's under miscellaneous products. And while you're there, you can check out this next product that we're going to talk about. This is kind of released at the same time, and it's the Magpul Bev Block. What it is, it's BEV stands for Barrel Extension Vise, and it's an all-in-one compact vise block tool for the assembly operations of barrel nuts, flash hiders, etc. So it mounts securely into a vise and provides support for both billet and forged upper receivers. So it engages the
The front pin,
yeah
right? It looks like
yeah
there's a hole there for the front pin.
yeah exactly, and it
And then sorry,
no no no
I was saying this is pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of this thing. I would consider this when I go to build my neck. Like when I build, I hopefully, well, maybe I should take a break. Take upper, or probably a 223 wild upper for my AR. But this is cool because the fake bolt, if you will, that interfaces with your barrel extension is made from steel, and then everything else is made from plastic, so you don't have to worry about scuffing your receivers or anything like that. And as you mentioned, it's a complete AR-15 assembly tool because you can flip it over and then use it in the magazine well for stabilizing your lower receiver when assembling that. And for the price, this is pretty awesome because to just get your average hunk of plastic lower receiver um, uh, block, that's like what, $10 at least,
Yeah.
right? And then the upper clamp style vice block is another probably 15 to 20 maybe. And, if you get it all in a kit with a wrench or whatever, you get it for like 60, $70. I think the extra money for this could be worth it because knowing that you're locked into that receiver extension, you're not torquing on the upper receiver as you're trying to torque in that barrel nut. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's a
You're,
pain in the
you're
butt.
yeah, you're like you're affecting only what you need to affect without imparting that stress on other parts in the upper assembly. Uh, I really like this product. Well, I think I like it. I don't have it or anything, but it's interesting to me. I would certainly consider buying this.
Yeah,
You should make one in 308, and then I'll buy it because I'm going to be putting together my 308 soon.
I bet they will. So the MSRP on that is $49.95, and both of these products are going to be coming later on in the fall of this year. But yeah, I think this one's definitely a winner too because I'm always sometimes barrel nuts get so stuck on there. And I mean, I'm smart enough to stop because I will break that upper in half if I don't stop myself and call my gunsmith, be like, I got a stuck barrel nut again, and he'll be like, use a torch and then call me back.
Yep, heat it up.
But yeah, this is nice, especially if you're changing out barrels on AR-15s a lot, either professionally or just as your hobby. You're like, oh, I like this handguard better. I'm going to swap them around. It's really good to take that stress off of your barrel extension and your chamber because you can't really replace that. That's your once that's gone, you need a new barrel. You're done. So check that out at Magpul's website, magpul.com. So let's get on to the sponsored product spotlight. Be sure to click on one of the affiliate links on the firearmsinsider.tv for Action Target, or go to firearmsinsider.tv/Action Target, and remember to use the promo code Radio15 to get 15% off your order. So this week we're talking about the PT Hold, and it is meant to hold stationary paper targets by using 1x2 wood slats that are, of course, replaceable. It's got an MSRP of $75. So what this is, it's a nice steel base that's got kind of a cross legs as the base. And so you would take 1x2 pieces of wood and mount them inside, or mount them onto the mount, and then you can, of course, staple your IDPA targets, your paper targets of choice, and you have a nice robust base that's going to last a long time. And you can shoot up those the wood stands and just go to the hardware store and get more, cut more, and replace them as you need to. But at least you have a base that's going to, if there are some errant bullets that strike the base, it's not going to damage it all that much. Especially, like, I've had I made one out of PVC pipes, and it only took one bullet to just completely annihilate it. So this is going to be the much more permanent solution.
Yeah, I mean, like at my range, it's all you use kind of like every range at the facility except the 200 and 300-yard rifle range. You use the same kind of wooden frame. It's basically just a square or a rectangle rather with swing down legs, and you pop it down into these like the berms that have special slats that are like holes in them. But the problem is like if you're not missing, you're not training hard enough sort of mentality. Combine that with trying to introduce new shooters, and my target stands kind of take a beating. Having something like this, where it's just a matter of a couple pieces of wood, versus having to reconstruct and deconstruct my whole target stand, certainly helpful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, and actually, the picture's a little bit misleading. That must be a huge cardboard target because the base of it from corner to corner is 36 inches. So
Really?
you've got a 3 feet of base from corner to corner. That means wind, hurricanes. Your target's going to be pretty sturdy. So that's always good, especially if you're running a course. You know, the last thing you want is your target to fall down in between course and have to stop and reset. Um, and so, yeah, the wood strips just are clamped at the base, and the clamps let you adjust the angle of the wood strips too. So if you've got a larger cardboard target, you just, widen them into like a V, and then you can mount your cardboard. Or if you've got a smaller target, you can just kind of tighten them, kind of like the shape of an uppercase A, and then you just, use staples, or if you've got heavy-duty clamps, because you don't like messing with staple guns at the range. You can do whatever you like, but at least you've got a nice sturdy base that if some idiot or somebody has an accidental discharge, and it's not going to ruin your stand. So it's a good investment to have. And 75 bucks plus the take off the 15%, man, that's a pretty good deal. So head on over to store.actiontarget.com and look at the specialty targets tab, and under target holders, it's called the PT hold. So now we're going to get into our main panel discussion, and as always, we're going to let the guest go first. What did you bring for us today, Sam?
Uh,
I can't hear you. You there?
Hello?
Yeah, there you are.
There I am. Okay. Yeah, just got it in the mail yesterday, eagerly unwrapped it. It's the dedicated 1911 handgun case by Negrini. Negrini is an Italian company which is more well known for their higher end handgun, or rather shotgun cases. Um, all their stuff is hand finished. Proprietary blends of ABS plastic. Their fit and finish on their stuff is killer. Um, its claim to fame is the secure construction without the bulk, I would say. Um, it's very low profile as far as like, thinness compared to like even a standard Plano case. Um, and another thing that was really awesome about this that stood out to me, and even though it was a dedicated 1911 case, it fit and held securely a Glock 19 as well as a SIG 226. So just because this is kind of a good all-around case, cases are there's a kind of like a little storage into it where there's like a separate section within the case, so you could like throw an extra set of like ear plugs in there, you know, odds and ends that you might need to
I think I lost you again. There you go.
already be familiar with their shotgun cases.
Is your internet connection okay, Sam? I keep losing you.
Um,
Still there? You want to try leaving the Hangout and then joining back in? Like I'll cover my review, and then you can join back in and pick up where you left off. That'll give you a chance. Maybe the connection to your Hangout's no good. So while Sam's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and discuss my review for the PureScript Glock Plus XL magazine extension. And what that is a extension you can add to your factory Glock magazines to increase the capacity, and then also give you a little bit more finger real estate if you've got larger hands. So what these retail for MSRP is $9.95, but locally at a local retailer I was able to find it for like $6.99 each. And they're advertised to increase the capacity of your Glock double stack magazines. Depending on the caliber, if you have a 40 Smith & Wesson or a 357 SIG magazine, that's supposed to give you +2, and if you have a 9mm magazine, it's supposed to give you +3. And I found that with my Glock's 19 magazines, they're 15 rounders, and I popped on these extensions, and I could not get the third additional round to load in the magazine. It was super tough, and these magazines have been used for a couple years, so they're not brand new, but I guess they're not broken in by like expert YouTube operator status. So I loaded them and unloaded them a couple times, and then I loaded this 15 round magazine to 17 for a while, and then tried to get that 18th round in there, and I just couldn't do it. I used a magazine feeding that Glock gives you, that feeder, that assist, and I could see the feed lips, the steel feed lips, start to bend a little bit, so I just ditched trying to squeeze in that third round and just stick with the 17 round mags, or 17 rounds in a 15 round original magazine. So in my Glock 19, it kind of adds to it by that much. It's got the same texturing as a Gen 3 on the front strap of this magazine extension, so it kind of fits the textures good. There's a little bit of a gap still, so it's not like really seamless with the bottom of the magazine well. It's not flush, but that's just the way it's. I guess they could have designed it to be a little bit taller, but I think just tolerances, they wanted to play it safe. So it effectively turns your Glock 19 into, a Glock 17, except for the barrel length. So it's kind of nice to have. If you've got a Glock 17, you could add 19 rounds, 20 if your mags are really loosened up and well used. You can get a whole 20 rounds in your mag, which is, I tried, I just couldn't do it yet. Maybe my 17 mags need to have the spring changed out with a shorter spring. I didn't want to commit to cutting off some of the spring to make some room. I just figured my magazines aren't getting used and abused enough for that to fit all 3 rounds in. Oh, also.
Or you can get a 33 round stick mag. Now it's a 36 round mag.
Oh yeah, you could do that as well. Or if you have like a Glock 26 or 27 and you want to top off that 10 round magazine, make it a 12 round or 13 round magazine, you could do that too. Also, if you're a true Glock fanboy and you've been rocking the 45 gap, while all the rest of us have been laughing at you secretly behind your back, you can add 1 extra round of 45 gap to your magazine. So yeah, that's a big deal right there. So it's made out of high impact polymer. It's made to withstand drop tests and rated for temperatures at minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know what happens to the polymer when it drops below minus 20. I know that's not uncommon for some states these days in the winter to drop that cold. I don't know if what it's gonna happen, but if you
it disintegrates, it turns into a pumpkin.
Yeah, if you live in the Arctic Circle or Antarctica, let me know if you want to try that out. Or if you live on the sun and it's really hot, let me know what happens. Probably gonna melt. Uh, Another nice thing is that the bottom of this base plate, it's got five kind of recessed indentation dots. So it's kind of just like a dot matrix. If you wanted to get five of these, you could actually, be able to sort them by taking some paint and putting them on the bottom. So if one magazine was starting to have failures to feed and you wanted to pull it out of the rotation and possibly maintain it, you could, identify it by which dot of the matrix you had filled in. So it's only available in black right now. What other people are saying, I actually looked for a review to address the whole +2, +3, what's the deal thing. So this is Daniel Hood, and he's an Amazon user, and he said, this magazine extension added 3 rounds to my Gen 4 Glock 26 9mm magazines. Perhaps those who have had problems adding 3 rounds were using earlier Glock magazines. 2 notes on squeezing 3 additional rounds into your Gen 4 Glock 26. Load the newly extended magazine to maximum capacity, be it 11 or 12, then unload and reload repeatedly until all 13 fit. This took 3 load-unload cycles for me. My magazines have between 600 and 800 rounds through them and typically are stored loaded to capacity. Perhaps the springs are just broken in. Your Glock loves to be used. Take it to the range. So then he actually updated his review, which I'm lucky that I caught that. He said that he began to experience failure to feeds with this grip extension installed. He assumes this is caused by too much tension on the spring. He decreased it to 12 rounds instead of 13, which solved the problem. So to be totally 100% reliable for personal defense or concealed carry, I've been loading only 11 rounds in these magazines. They do provide a very solid feel for my smallish hands with he's got a Crimson Trace laser handguard on his Glock 26. So you can get this at Pierce Grip's website or Brownells. Brownells has it for cheaper, and we do have an affiliate link on the this review for you. The pros, I rated this a 7.0, and the reasons for that, the pros, I like the front grip texture. It matched the Gen 3 front strap really nicely. If you're going to put this on a Gen 4, it's obviously not going to match that grip texture because they changed it. It provides a nice pinky ledge for those who have bigger hands, especially if you have like a Glock 26 and your pinky tends to kind of fold underneath your magazine. This will give you a nice pinky ledge. The base plate has that. Actually, yeah, that's a very good point here. I've got a base plate that hasn't been installed on a magazine yet. It's actually got some slotted ridges on the inside, and this is the base. I don't know what you'd call the follower that's for the bottom of the magazine, the bottom follower, I'll call it. It's got slots on it, and those slots actually interface with the ridges inside this magazine. So when you fill it to capacity and those bullets are stacking down and there's increased tension, it's going to positively lock inside this little base plate here. So which is kind of nice instead of the standard or the factory Glock base plate, like that bottom tray that the spring sits on. There's really no ridges at all to keep that spring where it's supposed to be. So this kind of adds extra support to that. It just feels more sturdy to me, so I really like it. So I actually have. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Of course, I already took the factory base plate off, so that's all the difficultness is over with because I took that off. I didn't have that special Lone Wolf tool that we've got a review on. I just used some large mouth pliers to squeeze the magazine a little bit to get past the tabs. So to show you how easy it is, I'm going to take this little I still don't know what to call it, this bottom follower, and then I'm going to take the base plate and just slide it over. And of course, now that I'm on the air doing this live, the tabs are going to give me a problem. Oh, nope, bam, done. So you saw how easy that was. The hardest part, which people most gripe about, is just getting the factory one off to begin with. I found that I usually take a punch and I jam it down through the base plate to press the spring, and I just kind of, while I squeeze the magazine, I just kind of crank forward. And I'm sure that's a good way to break your magazine, but I did like 5 of these, and it all worked really well and much quicker. So now this 15-round magazine can hold 17 rounds, 18 if I gave it a better workout and the springs had more give to them. So overall, I'm going to give it a 7.0. The negatives, the cons, was just the advertised capacity increase. It was very difficult without the mag loader. I did experiment on. I've got some Glock 22 mags, some 15-round 40 Smith & Wesson / 357 SIG rounds, and I did try these, and I found that it was still difficult to get a whole 2 extra in there. It was a little easier than trying to fit 3 whole ones in a 9mm magazine. So if you're a 40 or a 357 SIG guy, you should be able to stick 2 whole new rounds in there. So that'd make your capacity 17. Even if you have a Glock 27, that'd give you 12 rounds of 40 instead of 10. So yeah, that's my review. So Samuel, you are back, and I hope your connection holds out till the end of the show.
I am back, and I will make my review as succinct as possible.
Sweet.
I suppose I'll just start over from the beginning because I think I was probably a little choppy throughout.
It was.
Okay. We'll just run through the 8 key points that we use here at Firearms Insider. The claim to fame, I would say, is its secure construction without the bulk. The quality of the ABS they use is awesome. The hinges are tremendous, and the locks are really, really secure. Perhaps are more familiar with their shotgun cases to begin with. These cases aren't cheap, and it's not as cost prohibitive as to put it into a complete niche market, but it certainly isn't an everyman's case. Some of the features are slide length adjustability. So it is designed for 1911, but you can trim and adjust the interior foam to fit longer barrels and slides in it. It has storage for a few magazines and extra odds and ends. It has, as I mentioned earlier, the ABS construction as a proprietary double wall construction. It's very, very sturdy. Among their other products as well, it's hand finished. So you have that attention to detail that goes into every one that comes out of the factory there. The double locks are, open, and those are you could set them yourself, whatever code you'd like. And another thing that I kind of find interesting is they mention that you can select any finish you'd like that they produce, or there's also custom options. You just have to contact them. So hypothetically, you could get a gator skin 1911 case, or I don't know, anything else you could imagine. Of course, that would come with a custom price tag, but it seems that they are willing to work with their customers to get them what they'd like. Other aesthetic options are finishes. As I mentioned, the customizable finishes, within reason, I suppose you can give it a good level of customization. As far as the interiors, they make what pretty much looks like the same case, but it's not molded to the outline of a full-size handgun. Possibly trim and make it fit 2 small handguns, like maybe 2 Glock 26s, or 3 Derringers, or whatever you'd like to fit in there. But they have non-formed versions where it's just kind of a sandbox, and you can play with it and make it whatever you'd like it to. Like I said, I've been swamped. I haven't been able to look out there for what other people are saying yet, but that'll be up in the review up on the website. The MSRP for this product is $149. Street prices, I'm not sure on yet, but I haven't seen Negrini in any of my local gun stores, so I wouldn't be able to kind of compare it as far as what their markups are, or rather what their retail prices end up being. Uh, Availability, online shopping. This is 2014. You can buy anything you want, and if you're willing to pay for it, you can get it shipped pretty darn quick. Uh, I'm gonna give this an 8, and the reasons I'm giving it an 8 is because um, a lot of the positives, like I said, it's rock solid. You know, the only way to get more secure in a pistol case is getting like a Pelican case. Um, and I know that's kind of a whole different ballpark, but this kind of bridges the gap because it's a lot more sturdier than your average Plano case. The fit and finish is better. It actually ends up being smaller than your average, handgun hard case. But you have built-in locks, unobtrusive not latches. The hinges are built into it in such a way where you don't have this like big bulky hinge sticking off the back of it. Uh, it's a sexy gun case, and it comes with a not so sexy price. I would recommend it for someone who shoots less of a volume or brings with them less of a volume of handguns to the range. Like for someone who maybe has a couple of handguns at home and just takes one to the range, a local indoor range, and then comes home, just one. This would be kind of perfect. But myself, I usually, when I finally get a chance to go out to the range, I end up bringing, three to five handguns to the range, so they end up in soft pouches, all piled up in a backpack with a lock on that.
I think it's a really classy gun. I think for the price tag, it would have been nice to see it instead of just the cut foam. Like a suede interior would have been nice to see for that price tag, don't you think? Think did you freeze up again, Sam? Yeah, I think so. Um, so thanks for doing that review, Sam. Those are pretty awesome gun cases. I think I have the uncut model, and so I'll be doing a review on that as well. And I definitely agree with Sam's points on the quality and how nice it is. Um, as far as the being able to lock it in your house or in your car, kind of adds to the overall safety of having a firearm that's it's got like the lock is very similar to a locking briefcase. So it's kind of nice. You back? Oh, he left again. I think he's going to reconnect. So thanks for that review. So next up, we're going to get into the tech gadget or app segment. And this is something, right now, it's deer hunting season is starting just around the corner. So it's scouting season right now. And it's something that I've been thinking about is what products out there that can improve my scouting. And there's some people that might kind of, guys that have been killing deer for years might frown on this, if you're not a high-tech hunter. But this is something that I might be interested in as well. So that's enough suspense. It's the SpyPoint Live 3G, and it's actually a 3G compatible wireless trail camera. So it's got an MSRP of $549.99, and it's got 8 megapixel photo. It's got video that's only in 480p with sound. It's got 48 infrared LEDs. So what it is you wherever you have internet access, so a computer, a cell phone, tablet, any kind of smart device, you can quickly retrieve all of your game camera images and manage the settings of the camera just with a few keystrokes. So you can check your photos anywhere, anytime from across the country. If you are traveling and you want to check on how your local deer spot is doing, you can do that. The live 3G game camera is all self-contained, and it's got a nice camo finish on there. So it uses a cellular network. So any prepaid data plan from a 3G cell phone provider will allow you to get your photos from your own personal account at their website, myspypoint.com, which requires a subscription as well. So the advantage to this is you're not going in every single day or every other day to check the photos on the camera manually by opening it up and taking the chip out, or by plugging in a laptop or any kind of device. You can do this wirelessly from the comfort of your couch in your warm house, without having to get your scent into the area and disturbing the area. So it's kind of nice, especially if you don't live right next to your hunting spot. You actually save gas money by not having to drive there and check your camera all the time. You can just check it wirelessly, which is something that I'm actually really I find really appealing, just because you're already using a trail camera, so you're already a high-tech hunter. Let's just step it up a notch and make it easier by not having to run through your spot, especially if it's not actually during the season. If the season's open, you're probably going to be walking over to your camera anyway to check it manually, which you can still do with this camera. You can open it up, and it's got a nice little screen with a little pad of buttons for you to navigate, look through the photos and the videos. But if you're actually not wanting to travel all the way to your spot, this would be the way to go. Another great feature, especially because of the price tag, a lot of guys might be afraid if they're deploying these on public land. Oh, I don't want someone to find my game camera and steal it. And so that's why they only spend 70, 80 bucks on a cheap version if they're going to use it on public land. This actually has an internal GPS tracking system, which means that even when someone takes this and turns it off, removes the battery, it's still going to send a GPS signal for 3 days. So basically, you just pull up your account and you can find where's your camera and just tell the cops, hey, someone stole my trail camera off public land and I have tracked it and they live right here. Go get it. Or you can go get it
Question.
yourself. Answer. Go ahead.
Question. Is it possible to set parameters, whereas like, let's say you've placed it and now you say notify me if moved, if it moves within a noticeable range of the built-in GPS, whereas because you can, if you're not checking it necessarily every day, that GPS for 3 days, that ping is good, but what if you checked it on day 4 coincidentally and there's no signal whatsoever? So
I'm not
if it moves,
positive on that. That's a good idea, though. At least you'll have a picture of the thief's face, unless they approached it from a blind side and was able to turn it off. But yeah, but that's a good point. You can also use a solar panel jack too.
there's accessories.
If you want to be able to run this for extended periods of time. So it does run on alkaline AA batteries, so 8 of them, and it's supposed to have a lifetime of a year of battery life, which covers your season pretty much. But if you wanted to extend it longer, you could put a solar panel adapter on there. It does require an SD card, and it can handle up to 32 gigabytes if you just are in a high traffic area and got lots of photos and videos to store. The adjustable distance for the sensor is between 5 and 50 feet. It's got an instant trigger in electricity mode, and let's see, the speed of that trigger, that's usually something that they boast. Let me see if I can find that. I'm not seeing that. Because I know that's kind of a competing thing with in the trail camera market, is how fast is that camera trigger. so that if there's a moving deer, if is it going to be just a blurry shot, or is it going to be a fast enough shutter speed to really capture the details and identify how many points are on the antlers and so on. Um, it does have a black and white nighttime capture mode, and it does have a multi-shot mode with up to 6 pictures per detection. So, have you ever deer hunted with a trail camera, Sam?
I have not deer hunted, period. So I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that in the near future. And trail cameras are certainly something that I would consider.
Yeah, I think I haven't invested in one yet, so I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe get a really nice one that gives me the added benefit of, putting it way up at the top of my hunting spot, and then checking on it during the preseason. And if you're living in a state where you're allowed to bait and use certain feed products, you can check how many times they're coming to your bait pile, especially if it's a bear or something like that. You could also use this, I guess, for home surveillance to see who's been sneaking around in your backyard or neighbors' dogs going through your garbage, things like that. And there is a number of accessories too available from SpyPoint as well. If you want an infrared booster to increase the amount of light at night that's reflecting off the subject. There's also a signal booster. And then you can even get a steel security box that locks, that you can really secure down if you don't want someone to be able to get in there and turn it off or bash it up or something. So yeah, I think it's a pretty neat trail camera. So let's get into we do have a new review this week, and it's from Riverman6597. He left us a 5-star review. He said, "What a great, honest review. I have always looked forward to hearing the next show. Keep up the good work." So, nice, simple, straight to the point. Thank you, Riverman, for that review. We appreciate it. So, in closing, I wanted to make sure you guys check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network, including the Guns of Hollywood podcast, which our buddy here, Sam, is on. Give a little plug for your podcast there, bud.
Well, each week we take a look at a TV show, movie, or a series, and talk about the guns, the action, the tactics involved in it, and we're having a really good time with it. We just did The Walking Dead season 2. We're going to be doing Triple X. We're going to be recording Triple X this week, and we'll be doing the other guys coming up soon too. So to see all the stuff that we're up to, go to gunsofhollywood.com. Check out the schedule, check out some of the shows, and subscribe to us on iTunes.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely good. Nice to see a schedule so I can look forward to future shows, or if there's a movie I haven't seen in a while, I can always go rent it and brush up on it before I listen to the podcast. So make sure you send other questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsidertv.tv or myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv. Especially if you'd like to come on the show, send me an email and we can get that. See if you can meet some of the technical requirements for joining us. Audio is a must, obviously. Video, however, I'm not going to make it mandatory. So if you're camera shy or you just don't have a webcam, I'm gonna say you can come on the show anyway, and you can still join the hangout and just not have a web camera on. So that's gonna be okay, I think. So remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review, and check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for future reviews and industry coverage. So thanks again, Sam, for joining me. It's really nice to hear from you again. I'm sorry your internet kind of cut out a couple times in there, but
yeah, apologies. I thought I was getting better internet. Now it's not quite as good.
Yeah, that's all right. Murphy's Law. If everything's smooth on my end, that usually means something's going to happen on somebody else's end. But it's great having you on. It's good to see you again. I hope that you get out to the range this weekend too. I'll be hoping I do as well.
Cool. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, everyone, have a great week. Shoot safe, and catch you on the next episode. See ya.
Bye.